Hey everyone, we're the film lovers of film. We're talking about a movie that kind of, I guess, has gotten some attention because it's been available on Netflix.
I guess it was a straight to video. I don't remember hearing
I
much
think
about
so.
it.
I never, I don't.
Or straight on demand, whatever.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But that movie is Hush. I don't know why every time I think of Hush, I think about that episode from Tales from the Dark Side.
Reality. But there is, unseen by most, an underworld. A place that is just as real, but not as brightly lit. A dark side.
With the vacuum cleaner that kills people.
Oh my god.
Because that was called Hush.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Whoa, that was crazy.
Oh my god. I don't know.
That was
it's
one
just-
of the worst shows ever made, I think. It was so bad. I've tried to watch other episodes. It was horrible.
Yeah.
And that episode stunk. Remember, you're like, I always remember this, dude. It was so weird
Yeah.
and scary. And I watched it. I'm like, dude, that was a piece of shit. Remember, it ends where what did they do? Unplug it or something?
I don't remember.
Anyway,
I don't care.
so what's your opinions on Hush?
I thought it was all right.
Yeah.
I thought it was all right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, the big unique thing about this movie
Yes.
is that you have a woman who she wasn't born deaf, but she eventually got a disease and
Yes.
became deaf.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a lot of points in the movie where you're really kind of experiencing it the way she is because she can't hear
it.
things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so. But basically, the story is she gets attacked
By a
this-
masked man.
by a masked man, yeah, who have no history together, right?
Yeah, which was weird. I thought there was going to be some kind of backstory where he was like getting revenge or something. She just kind of happens to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, kind of thing.
Because he kills the neighbor. I mean, they're
Yes.
hardly a neighbor. It seems like she's out in the middle of nowhere,
yeah.
but like the person who's closest.
That was kind of shocking, I have to be honest.
Yeah.
It happened so quick. It's like 5 minutes into the movie, she's just sitting around doing stuff, and then she's like all bleeding and running up to the door, and then the guy with the mask, comes
up behind
yeah.
her. Yeah. So basically, she's deaf and she is a writer,
Mm-hmm.
and she is working on her second novel, third novel,
Something
I
like
can't
that.
remember.
Yeah.
And she, I don't know. We don't really learn a lot about her necessarily.
Not really,
I mean,
no.
Except that she has a boyfriend, or supposed maybe. It seems like they're almost broken up at this point.
Yeah, like they might reconcile. In fact,
Yeah.
I think there's a part where it cuts to messages he's sending her, and it's like him trying to apologize or
Yeah,
reconcile.
But yeah, basically it's about her just surviving this attack by this.
Yeah,
by this
I wasn't.
dude.
I just thought it was at the very least, an interesting horror movie. It wasn't like every other horror movie you see. I mean, it was
it
kind
was
of
trying
different.
to do something different.
Exactly. You got the feeling like these were people that weren't trying to throw every cliche at the screen. You know what I mean? They were trying something.
Now, the one thing I have to say about this movie, though, that was kind of disappointing, or I just wasn't happy with, was the fact that there's a scene where he kills the neighbor and he realizes that the woman inside she's dead. He realizes that.
Yes, yeah.
And then he shows up in front of the sliding door and starts talking to her.
Yeah.
And when he says, the fact, and anybody can tell this. I mean, there's freaking big, glass doors he can just smash through.
Yes.
He says, I can come in here anytime I want to.
Yes. Well, he wants to play with her.
I know, but it kind of took away some of the level of suspense I was, hoping for.
Can you read my lips? Can you? You've seen it now, haven't you? Seriously, Maddie, maybe you could come back and live with me. I worry about you. It's not good for anyone to be so alone, Squish. I can come in anytime I want. And I can get you anytime I want.
Now, I will say the moments where she tried to escape and get outside, those were tense.
That's what I mean,
that if he caught her, he was going to kill her.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, that was intense, but I just felt like, he could at any time just bust through there.
Yeah, you have to suspend your disbelief. That's the story. I mean, I know, of course.
Yeah.
It would have taken 2 seconds, and then the movie would have been over. There would have been no movie.
So I was kind of unhappy about that. It didn't kill the movie. The movie. Like I said, it still had plenty of suspense, but,
Yeah.
I mean, basically, it seemed to me that we're almost going to see this killer not do the logical thing and just go in there and freaking take care of it there and then.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It was just kind of bothered me a little bit at first.
Gotcha.
But
I thought it was, to me, what the scene that got me interested in this movie was when she realizes there's a masked man by the sliding glass door, and it's literally a race to the door. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
I thought that was tense.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? And they both.
Yeah.
She literally a second earlier,
just before,
and they look at each other. And it's really weird. The other thing I thought was interesting and kind of random, but a little different. Less than halfway through the movie, he takes the mask off, and he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, well, I felt that also made it creepier because you know that now he has to kill her.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Him, you know what I mean?
Just something different. Normally they wouldn't do that type of thing.
Yeah.
He would stay masked, and that was it.
Well, again, I mean, props to the movie for not trying to be, like a Scream or a Halloween.
That's sort of why I recommended it to you, and I didn't think it was awesome or great. I just thought it was something different in horror. And,
I got that.
It was sort of a little bit of a pleasant surprise. And it got a little good buzz here and there, so I thought, I watched it. Didn't necessarily love it, like I said, but I just thought it was worth a watch for a horror fan, at least. You know what I mean? There's not much to say about it. I mean, I thought the girl did a good job acting. I mean, she did what she needed to.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, the actress.
Yeah, there were moments in this movie where, I don't know, it might seem stupid, but I was impressed by how she was able to restrain herself from saying anything.
I know.
You know what I mean? She doesn't talk the whole movie, right? Literally.
Nope.
I mean, of course, she does American Sign Language.
Well, sign language, sure.
And there are subtitles in the beginning.
Yes, because she's talking to the neighbor.
Right.
Yeah, there was just certain things that surprised me about stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The one part surprised me, even though it might be a bit of a cheap gimmick, was there's a part where you don't realize it, but it looks like she attempts to go out and he just kills her brutally. and then it cuts back and it's her thinking about it.
At first, I sort of had a problem with that that moment because
Yeah.
I was like, "What the fuck?" You know,
Yeah.
fuck you, movie, almost because
Yeah.
like
I know.
you know,
it's kind of interesting, I guess.
well, it made more sense though when we see that happen and he supposedly kills her,
yes,
and then you go back to no, she didn't do that.
Yes.
And she's thinking
different scenarios,
because she's a writer and she's thinking about how things
so it
are
made it a
shit,
little
and
more
then
clever.
it made it a little. It made
It
sense.
was a little
then.
less than it was all a dream kind of
which can
lame
be,
cliche.
Right, yeah.
That's lame. So, yeah, I was just surprised by it all. One of the best scenes was when the guy shows up.
That was really uncomfortable.
That was crazy, wasn't it?
That was
Because you're
really
like,
uncomfortable.
oh my God, when is he going to realize something's not right here?
Yeah.
And finally, before he figures it out. He has the
starts-
rock.
yeah,
Remember, he grabs the
yeah,
rock, and
yeah.
I thought that scene was very well done.
No, it's just a phone. I was just gonna call the cops.
Hands behind your head.
Okay.
On your knees.
Okay, take it easy, man.
Hands where I can see him.
Friend.
Don't want any trouble.
Listen,
Just do what I
My
say,
name
all right?
is John Stanley.
I said on your knees, sir.
Okay. Trashed her car pretty good, huh?
Oh, yeah, look at that. Jeez.
So how long do you think it'll take for the cavalry to arrive?
Oh, 10, 15 maybe.
Really?
Easy. Easy.
Yes.
Because at that point it was like, okay, it's running thin on just those two. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like the
yes,
scenarios are
yes.
running thin, and then all of a sudden that adds a whole new thing to it. So, and then he brutally murders himself.
Yeah.
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 He realizes something's not right because he's like, oh yeah.
Well, doesn't he drop something?
Yes. And, yep.
Yeah.
hmm
And besides the fact that he's in like plain clothing.
I know.
and
Well,
he's
that's when he
acting like he's
realizes.
a cop. I mean,
well, pretty quickly. This is just for filmmaking. They make it seem like he might actually believe he's an investigator. or
Yeah,
something.
I know.
But it looked really quickly that he figured out something's not quite right here. Now that's the neighbor's boyfriend, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, it was weird because the whole time I thought, well, okay, maybe he has no connection to the main character, but then I thought maybe he might have a connection to the neighbor that we would find out. But
Yeah.
he doesn't. He's just a psycho, I guess.
You know what I honestly thought for the longest time when I was watching
I thought it was the
movie?
boyfriend, right?
Yes.
Because they keep
I-
referring to this boyfriend
Yes.
that's going to come over.
I
Same
thought
here.
he was upset
So-
because he broke. You know,
yeah, something.
she broke up with
yeah,
him.
something.
And, you know,
Yeah.
in a way that kind of would have been sort of interesting too, because there's a point where she looks at the crossbow and she
Mm-hmm. I know.
sees the marks
Yes.
of people having been killed.
Yes.
If it turned out that the dude was her boyfriend,
Yeah.
that would have been kind of interesting. Like, whoa,
Yeah.
I'm his girlfriend,
Yeah.
and he's a freaking killer who's killed multiple.
Yes.
You know, I think
see
that
what
could have
you're
been kind of interesting.
Could have been.
You know what I mean?
Well, maybe it would have been a little cliche too. Like it's kind of interesting to have just wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah,
Just,
sure.
You know,
sure.
more realistic, I guess.
Yeah,
A more
yeah.
movie thing would be to have some kind of connection, but it
Yeah.
just did not. I don't
Yeah.
know. You know what I mean? And I did like the setting. I like the fact it's kind of in the middle of nowhere in the woods, kind of.
Yeah,
I like that
They
idea.
definitely didn't have to spend much money to make this movie.
No,
It's
which
very,
is kind of
you
cool
know-
though because
Well, yeah.
yeah, you know what I mean.
Yep.
So
Um,
I just think it's worth a watch for a horror fan.
thriller fan. you
For a
know.
horror thriller. It's not perfect. It's not like awesome. It's not a masterpiece, but it's definitely kind of a pleasant surprise. If you
Yeah.
put it on, it's like not your typical horror movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're a horror fan and you've gone through thousands of horror movies, you tend to see the same things over and over. And there's a lot of cheesy horror movies, a lot of bad horror movies, a lot of low budget horror movies. They don't really try anything daring or different. So
Yeah.
the whole death thing is interesting.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah,
I mean? It's
definitely.
all visual
Right.
at that point.
Right.
And they don't do it all the time, but it is interesting when they make the sound just go.
Yes.
And you're just like, you know, POV, just
Yeah.
like,
And
what's...
it was also interesting how they introduced the fact that she's deaf.
Yes.
By you hear clear as day, and it's all zoomed in
Yes.
on like what she's preparing for dinner.
Yes, yeah,
And
yeah.
you hear it so clear,
Yes.
and then it slowly goes away, and you
'Cause-
can't hear it.
yeah.
I don't know. It actually really made you think about it first.
Yes,
Like, you
exactly.
know,
Yeah, you're right.
Like that would suck, or that
I know.
you know, is
Yeah, it's weird.
But it was also interesting too that they played around with the fact that, you know how they always say if you lose a sense or you were born without one of the senses,
You have
your
others-
other senses are
are
more stronger.
Yes.
You know, they pay more attention.
Yes.
To
Mm-hmm.
them. Like there were moments where she'd pay attention to vibrations.
Yes, that
you know
was
what I mean?
interesting because
Yeah.
you thought I would never think that because I'm not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, when he's walking on the deck, right?
Yeah.
She's under the deck. So.
Oh, the other thing that was kind of going along, I just realized this too. Going back to the fact that he said, you know, I can come in here anytime I want to.
Yeah.
Was also the fact it was interesting, but you know, he did come in the house. Like literally,
I know.
she had her back to him.
I know.
He came in the house and he's thinking to himself, like, you know,
Yeah.
and like he could have killed her there. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know. It was I mean, I'm not sure what to think of that scene. Like,
Yeah.
in a way, it's cool. It's creepy. It's like, whoa, he's
Yeah.
freaking right there.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know, but I don't know. Again, I wasn't sure if it sort of hurt the suspense later on in the film.
Gotcha.
kinda,
Okay.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not saying it's unrealistic. I can imagine, you know,
Yeah.
somebody who kills people.
Yes.
I can go there that maybe he likes to play.
Yeah,
with
yeah. He
victims,
doesn't.
you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
exactly.
So, I mean, I get that, you know.
Yeah, I mean, again, not much to say. It's just one I happened upon on Netflix and just thought it stood out as maybe something a little different. That's all,
Yeah.
really. I mean, not much more to it than that, but
Yeah.
and it goes by fairly quick. It's a short film, I think. What's an hour and a half?
I don't even know if it's an hour and a half.
Yeah, it might be.
It might be an hour and a half,
Yeah.
actually.
So
Yeah.
it's not too long. It
Yeah.
doesn't drag out too long.
Now,
Just refresh my mind on the ending because I've seen it like a year ago and you've just seen it. So
What basically,
it's almost like she's towards the end of life, right? Like he's choking her.
yeah, I was gonna say that that's another little issue I sort of had was that it seemed kind of unrealistic was the fact that because if you remember, he finally gets in through like the upstairs window or something,
Mhm. Yeah.
and he gets into the tub behind her, and he's got a knife ready to stab
Yeah,
her.
yeah.
And she feels him breathe
Yeah,
on
breathe
her
on
back of her neck.
Yeah, yeah.
And
How's that on? That's on.
no,
Oh.
I'm just kind of trying to build up to that.
Oh, okay.
But like right before that happens, you already see her almost blacking out from like loss of
Blood. Yeah.
you know,
Loss-
exhaustion,
Uh-huh.
and you know they already set it up at that point that she's basically almost dying.
Yes.
She's, you know,
Yeah.
and then there's still like another 5-10 minutes of her rigorously fighting back, and I'm like, I'm starting to lose the. I don't feel like
Gotcha.
there's realism here anymore.
Gotcha.
Like, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
I think she really should have died.
Yes.
I mean, I kind of felt that actually.
Gotcha.
I mean, I'm not saying it was cliche or
I
like,
know,
you
I know
the,
what you're saying.
the girl, you know,
I know.
survives and you
Yeah.
know, or that it had to be dark with her dying.
Yes,
you
I know
I'm
what
not
you're
saying
saying.
that,
I
but
know.
like literally, the movie established that she is on the brink of
Yes.
collapsing and
Yes.
going unconscious. And then she does all this, you know, this shit.
Yeah, I
stuff,
gotcha.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah, like I said, it's far from a perfect movie.
yeah.
There's definitely flaws in it. But it was not a movie where I felt like it insulted my intelligence. It's
No,
really the key,
no.
I guess.
Yeah.
There's so many horror movies that insult your intelligence. Like, they're as dumb could
Yeah.
be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, that's all. And I would just recommend it for, like, a horror fan, like, one watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would never own it. I probably really wouldn't watch it again, but I'm glad I saw it once, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
kind of thing. What about you? I mean, you probably,
No,
you weren't like, oh, fuck Vince for
No.
recommending this piece of
I was,
shit.
you know, I was happy with it, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, whatever, so.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah,
So
it was
I'll
okay.
probably give it like a 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
You know.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to really
That's about it. I mean,
say, really.
the guy did a good job, I guess, the killer.
Yeah.
Performance, I mean.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. He was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing that was weird is when he took off his mask, he kind of just looked like a regular guy.
Yeah, he was
which was
very
kind of
kinda
weird.
unassuming.
Yeah,
sort
he was just
yeah.
kind of like a regular guy. That was kind of weird.
Yeah.
That's it. How did it? What was? Refresh my mind.
Okay,
it ends
so-
with the ambulance, right? Like an ambulance coming.
Yeah, so she stabs him after
Yes.
he drops into the bathtub.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
about to stab her.
Yes.
She then runs into the kitchen, and then he follows her, and she sprays the bug killer spray
That's
in
right.
his eyes.
Yeah.
And then she uses the fire alarm to
That's right.
you know,
Sound.
and then finally I think he gets on top of her and is about to choke her to death.
Yes.
And she gets the cork screw
Yeah. The.
and thrusts it through his throat,
That's right.
and he freaking dies.
Yes.
And then she, I think just before that had called or does she do it afterwards? I think
I forget.
near the
I'm
end she
trying to
calls,
remember.
911.
Yeah. Gotcha.
But yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, pretty good, man.
Yeah. Pretty good.
So I'm glad you recommended it.
Oh,
you know.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it too, or well, we kind of spoiled the whole movie, but
Yeah.
anyway, thanks for watching. See ya.
See ya.